Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Keep Gaming Reviews. I'm your host, Lan Mind, and today we're reviewing the Suicide Squad. Along with me, I have Mayamo CG. What's going on, brother?
Yeah.
And we have the one and only Johnny BoomBotz. What's going on, Johnny?
What's going on? What's up? What's up? What's up?
So let's start off by saying I'm happy that these gentlemen have went to the movies to finally see a film. They both went.
No, let me stop.
They both went to go see this movie, not together, but to the theater. This is a big deal. But I'm gonna get into it too. This may be the last time I go to the movies, and it may be because of this movie. So let's dive into it. The Suicide Squad.
Excuse me. So now you agree with us?
No. I will give you some insight as to why I'm not going.
Somebody coughed on his popcorn.
So,
oh my God, what?
This is DC's universe. Second time around doing the Suicide Squad. This is not really a sequel, nor is this a remake. It's kind of like a continuation of some sort. Yes. Some people from the original cast return, but not everybody. So I guess you're not really consider this a sequel, but it's in the DCEU universe, right? First of all, what were your thoughts going into this film? I know Johnny was super hyped. Give me your thoughts, man.
So I was actually really super hyped about doing it, about the movie coming out. The first one, I did like it only because of the fact that, again, though, too, I'm a fanboy for Harley Quinn. I'm a fanboy for Deadpool and stuff like that, too. So they gave me what I wanted as far as a Harley Quinn. Anything Harley Quinn, I'm going to be a fanboy for it. Was the first one that amazing? No, it wasn't. But it was decent. I enjoyed it. Going into this one, though, I had not high expectations, but I did have above par expectations for it because I saw the cast they had. And I saw what characters they were using. They weren't using everyday mainstream characters that everybody and their mother knows for the Suicide Squad. The fact that they used Polka Dot Man, as soon as I saw that they were using Polka Dot Man, I got so hyped it wasn't even funny. So the fact that they used a lot of characters that were, not something that everybody would be like, oh my God, yeah, it's gonna be
not recognizable characters, yeah.
Right, exactly. So the fact that they had a list of characters and they were literally throwing out everybody into there was great, and the fact that James Gunn was directing it, I was amped. I was definitely thinking that he can't fuck it up. Like, if it was Michael Bay, I would have been like, "Oh, great! Here comes a whole bunch of blue lights." But it's James Gunn, so I had a lot of hope for it because Guardians of the Galaxy and other movies going forward. So I did go into it with hopes, not high expectations, but hope for it.
Okay, Chris, what were your thoughts going into the film?
I like that James Gunn was the director because I feel like he's really good with like the weird stuff and bringing a different kind of tone to what people are used to with the whole DC stuff. Like basically what they try to do with the first Suicide Squad was emulate a James Gunn type of film, like what he did with Guardians. I felt like the first one felt like that. So the fact that they got him for the second one kind of made sense. So it was cool. I came into it with decent expectation, not super high, but decent.
Yeah.
So for me, a lot of these characters, like John mentioned, they are unknown characters. And I'm not a big DC Comics fan. So a lot of these villains, I do not know. I had to really like educate myself. And I think for the average moviegoer or someone who's into the comic book movies, they probably don't know these characters, right? And I was a little upset because I felt like they tried, even from the trailer, I'm like, wait, are they trying to replace the characters? It wasn't really well known. And as time went on, I said to myself, maybe I should give this a chance because it is James Gunn. He has a good track record. We saw Guardians 1 and Guardians 2, and we loved them. But the reason why James Gunn was actually in this scenario to make this film is because, as we all know, he was released by Marvel, and they fired him. They say he's not going to be doing Guardians 3, and DC grabbed him up real quick. If that wasn't the case, we probably would have got Guardians 3 a long time ago. But because of that time frame, he did this. And I was going into, I'm like, this is going to be comedy. This is going to be more light. This is not going to be as dark like a comic book movie that we've seen from Zack Snyder. And I said, maybe I'll give this a chance. I like the people that are in it. I'm excited to see what they can do. And I went in, like, I guess with John, like, not high expectations, but hope that this will be better than the first Suicide Squad.
Right. I would say the first Suicide Squad, piggybacking off of what Chris said, I think the first Suicide Squad definitely did try to be something it couldn't be. So they tried to be Batman. They tried to represent Chris Nolan's Batman, that dark, like edgy. And that was Chris Nolan's Batman was the first time we really got a DC movie that was dark and edgy that worked. That it was kind of like that idea of like you can actually have just a pure dark movie and still be able to make it what it needs to be. And I think that they tried that way too hard. So they were trying way too much of like that dark edginess, trying to make the character something they're not into. Like trying to make Will Smith something he shouldn't have been.
Right.
So they really did try, and I think that James Gunn on this one really got. I think he got it down right. I think that he did get the character development right, because he gave you just enough of each character. Spoilers ahead. He gave you just enough of each character that was a little bit of a history to it, but like even the ones that were just one off, real quick, like they made you like go, "Oh man, this is gonna be funny," and then 2 seconds later, there goes his head, and you're like, "Oh wait, what the fuck just happened?" Like that, why? Like I was about to enjoy that character. So they gave you like a little bit of a comedy for each character, but yet they still didn't give you enough until the end of it. So they didn't make you fall in love with the character until the end of it when it was really necessary to really feel for that character and learn their backstory.
Right.
At the end of the movie, towards the end of the movie, like the last 20 minutes, half hour of the movie, which is what I did love. Like they didn't give it to you where it was like, oh, let's fall in love with this character and kill him off right away. They gave you enough to feel for them, kind of enjoy them, and then they were like, okay, bye, you did your part, have a good day, kind of thing. And I may be the only one off on this one, but I was upset that they killed off as many as they did in the beginning because the characters they killed off, I was really excited for. Like, I'm not gonna lie, just what's his name alone, Pete Davidson's character alone, I was just excited for his character to be there for a while because of the stupidity. He was just playing himself, like he wasn't even being an actor. He was just being who he is. But I don't know. I mean, they did. I think they did really good with it, what they did. But I could be the only one on that one.
So yeah, before we get into the whole movie review, spoilers ahead. If you haven't seen it, go see it on HBO Max or go to the theater. I want to say watch that and then come back because we're gonna dive into the entire film and give you guys our thoughts and our ranking. We haven't done a ranking on a review in a while, so we're definitely gonna give you our 0 to 10 ranking. But I want to start off by saying, now that we're going into the review, the way they started this film, I thought was genius, man. Overall, the movie, James Gunn, was a bloody mess. I mentioned that to you guys in Discord. This was a bloody mess. And what I'm saying is that it was a beautiful bloody mess, meaning that it wasn't perfect. There was a lot of things that I would have taken away. I wouldn't have made it 2 hours long. A lot of stuff could have been detracted, I guess that's the right word, from the film and not used because we really didn't need that information. But from the start of the film, it was action-packed. I love seeing these characters die. Even James Gunn said it before bringing out the trailer, do not get attached to these characters. A lot of these people are not going to last long. And that's exactly what happened. You kind of get that sense in the trailer too. A lot of these characters did not last long and they died instantly. Right. And a lot of these characters, well, a lot of the actors, you can tell this was a fun film to make. It looked like everyone was having a lot of fun. And like John said, Pete Davidson was just like being himself. It just felt like a great atmosphere.
His character is called Blackguard, by the way.
Blackguard, yeah.
Yeah, Blackguard.
And they were having such a good time. And you can see, like, I think James Gunn felt a little bit of relief. Like, DC said, do whatever you want. Where Marvel kind of structured, like, this is what you have to do. You have to behave this way. They kind of feel like the Yankees, like, this is what you have to do. You have to cut your beard off. You have to stand up straight. And DC just said, do whatever you want. And James Gunn had a hell of a time.
They didn't have to fit that Disney-esque profile of
right.
Be who you are and off camera, on camera, just like not be who you are, but be who we want you to be, kind of thing.
Correct. Yeah. Chris, what are your thoughts, man?
I also want to apologize ahead of time too to anybody watching or listening to is the fact that I am not home, so I don't have computer screens set up right now where I'm going to be able to have the character name and list and everything else too. So if I do botch,
I got you, bro. I got
Chris got it, bro.
Chris enough to do it.
I got the list. I got it. Okay. I think the movie was fun. I think the beginning started off really strong.
Yeah.
Middle was a little bit weak. And then the end left me like every other James Gunn superhero movie. We'll get into it, but yeah. I think the characters were cool. I like the way it started where it showed that it's not going to focus on the team that we knew already, kind of.
Yeah.
With the Harley and Rick Flag and Boomerang, which were still from the first movie.
Yeah.
Same actors, same characters. They were part of that first team. And we instantly saw, again, spoilers, Boomerang dead.
Yeah, right away.
The way he died was crazy. I seen a lot of people upset about one character, who is technically a Superman villain, Mongal, the one who grabbed the helicopter and ended up killing Boomerang along with herself.
Yeah, they said
The way
she from
she-
space or something. So yeah,
The way she died, they weren't too happy with, because it's like, how can a Superman villain just be
She shouldn't have
a
died
one-off,
at all.
right? A one-off character.
yeah,
She could have easily taken out that entire army by herself.
yeah.
They
But
shouldn't have brought her into this. Like they could have done without using her.
There's so many other
character.
villains. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Like everybody else that was a film, like Javelin. Javelin wasn't like his costume was hilarious. He got freaking killed, and even the way he died with Harley was like, wait, what do I need it for? Like, that was great. I like that. That whole setup was funny. Weasel was hilarious. That might have been my most genuine laugh out of the whole movie, was him just drowning in the beginning. That was hilarious.
As soon as he jumped, my wife goes, "Does this thing know how to swim?" And then you see him, and she's like, "Oh my god!" She's like, "They did not just do that to him like that."
So, James Gunn, his movies are always going to have a lot of humor.
Yeah.
The biggest surprise to me might have been John Cena.
Yo,
I
I want to get into that. Mm-hmm.
I think he did a great job, like not being what every other wrestling actor becomes, like The Rock, where he's always the same, character in every single movie.
Yo, chill,
he
chill.
plays.
You talking about?
I love The Rock. I love The
world.
Rock, but he plays the same character. He plays the same character.
I don't know. You didn't see Jungle Cruise, so I don't know.
This guy Johnny's in a war field right now.
I didn't know if you heard that or not. You got roosters going off. In the background.
So watch what you say about Dwayne Johnson.
No,
the
but
highest
I think
paid actor 2 years in a row.
John Cena was very funny.
Yeah.
And the twist at the end was he executed that very well. He might have been my biggest surprise, like
Absolutely
good surprise in the movie.
Yeah.
John, what are your thoughts?
I would definitely agree with Chris with that. Like, John Cena was 100% the biggest surprise, and I honestly forgot. I want to say a little bit, like halfway through the movie, I forgot that John Cena was John Cena. Like, I didn't look at John Cena as
Right.
John Cena the wrestler. I just looked at John Cena as the actor, as Justice. Like, that was who he is. Like, I didn't like. And when I watched
before you continue, can we please acknowledge that he's part of the running joke of that we can't see him, and his post on Instagram is hilarious. Okay,
I've seen that. I've seen.
He posted him as Peacemaker with the costume, but he's not in it. Like, he's invisible. It's amazing. It's amazing.
That.
You gotta respect it.
So I would say though that he as Peacemaker did a phenomenal job. Like 100% did a phenomenal job. His acting wasn't cheesy. Like, you could tell. I think that he's a better actor than he was a wrestler. I didn't really like him as much as a wrestler so much. I mean, he wasn't the worst. I mean, wrestlers do have some cheesy, some cheesy acting to them without a doubt. Don't get me wrong, but I feel that he does better as an actor, personally speaking. The Rock was able to hold it down on both ways. Lou, I'm not trying to diss on anybody with wrestling, but I just do feel that John Cena though is a better as an actor than he was as a wrestler. He was good at what he did, but I love him as an action hero kind of guy. Going forward with that though too, the villains that the characters they used, again, Mongol, like they ruined her. Like, they ruined her character. Like, there's no way in hell you would get a helicopter, can't control it, and you just get killed. Like, it's stupid as hell. Pete Davidson, 100%. You've kind of figured that, and I love the way that they kind of blew for anybody that watched the first one, where they had that one person that sold them out kind of thing. I love the fact that they tried to use that joke right away to be like, oh, here's the person that sold us out, guys. So we're going with it now. Pete Davidson sold you out. That's it. There's the only one that's gonna be a sellout. You guys, the rest of it though is whatever it is. And the truth of the matter is though too, he was the only one that was a sellout. He wasn't the one that. I mean, spoilers. John Cena did go against the team, but it was for what's her face, not for. It was for Why am I blanking out all of a sudden? The head of the Suicide Squad, the one.
Amanda Waller.
Thank you. It was Amanda Waller that he backed. Like, he did it for her, not against the squad itself though. So with that being said though too, Weasel fucking priceless. The after credit post scene was hysterical. Like, I mean, not the post credit scene, the end of the movie scene with Weasel
Where he just
was
gets up
priceless.
and runs.
Yeah,
He's
he's
like,
alive.
um, I loved I loved basically Pete Davidson though, with like his running joke when he got the werewolf when he thought he was next to a werewolf was funny.
Oh yeah, when they're in the helicopter, yeah.
And they gave enough of a backstory with Amanda Waller and oh my god, again I don't have names right now. What's his name? The main character too.
Bloodsport.
Thank you, Bloodsport. They gave enough of a backstory of Bloodsport where you kind of felt for him in the beginning, and you were kind of like, okay, this is why he is the way he is. And I didn't know that John Cena though, like they made that one joke where he was like, "Oh, my bullets are small; they go inside your bullet holes or whatever," and the fact that they used that again later on at the end of the movie to to handle the situation. Rat, what's her name? Oh my
Ratcatcher?
God, this is horrible. Thank you, Ratcatcher too. I really feel bad that I have no names right now because I'm just going off the top of my head right now. Ratcatcher 2, I think that she did great, and I love the fact that they made a millennial joke about the fact that she just literally will fall asleep anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But let me talk on Polka Dot Man. Polka Dot Man, I gotta say, is somebody that in the comics I had loved him on occasion in the comics. He was just a random character that I had found one day, like just fucking around on the internet, and I was just like, oh, he's an interesting character. Then to find him in the Suicide Squad was interesting as hell. He's an old time character. They did him justice by using his polka dots and everything else too, and all this everything too that they had going with him. I don't like the fact that they use his polka dot though as incendiary, basically something that basically just explode whatever it touches. Because the way it worked out, it wasn't really consistent with it. Like some things it blew up, and some things it just bounced off the floor, and just it didn't really stay consistent with the way it should have been. In the comics though, his polka dots he uses them to make teleportation. Like he can open a polka dot and create a helicopter, or take and make almost like a Looney Tunes black hole gag.
Okay.
Is what Polka Dot Man should have been. So I mean, they did good with that though. The running joke of his mother was priceless.
Oh yeah, that was great.
Yo,
that was great.
When Starro became his mother, I was in fucking tears in the movie. Javelin, great. Javelin did great. Harley Quinn, I think they finally did Harley Quinn justice out of any Harley Quinn movie so far. They finally gave her the action that she's able to do. Like they gave her more. Some of her action was a little too far fetched, but they gave her a good role where they didn't make her the focus of the Suicide Squad like they did in the first one. It wasn't her movie. They used her as part of the story, and they did an amazing job with her character. So I mean, overall though, everybody that they used in here was amazing. I mean, I really have no qualms about the way they did it. Some scenes could have been a little left out, but yeah, I don't know. I can't really go any more than that.
Yeah, I will say that the characters, the main Suicide Squad, like you just mentioned, Harley Quinn. I want to touch on that. She didn't have a full focus on her like she did in the first one, like you said. I felt that her own movie, Birds of Prey, she did a lot more action scenes. This was just a little bit, but her scene with the president, I thought it just dragged too much. Like them falling in love, and then her killing him, and then her escaping. That just dragged too much, and I felt like, oh, Operation Save Harley, like it wasn't about her, and it kind of felt like they tried to make it a little bit about her, and then her escape was pretty dope. Other than that, I just felt like they could have used any other character in Suicide Squad, but they used her because she does an amazing job as Harley Quinn. Margot Robbie does a great job as Harley Quinn. You can tell she loves the character. You can tell the growth in the character from the first Suicide Squad to Birds of Prey to this, that she's just continuously doing a lot better with the character. She's becoming one with the character. Kind of like, Hugh Jackman with Logan, Wolverine. Like, you see the growth in the character, and she's doing very well. I wonder if they'll do another movie with her again. I don't know. Now, I liked King Shark. I thought Sylvester Stallone did a great job doing the voice. It was great. It was comical. I thought Ratcatcher was great too. I loved John Cena's part, and like you guys were saying, it was the most surprising part in the film. He surprised me because I always thought he was a shit actor, and this, you felt like he wasn't trying. You just felt he was having fun. Like, there was just so much fun on set, and between him and Bloodsport, like that chemistry together there was so dope. And I loved how they kept going back and forth, and it was just so much fun to see because they're kind of the same character from the beginning. They mentioned that like they grew up and they have all the same like upbringing, you know, becoming an assassin, and I loved it. His weapons were dope. Bloodsport, that to me was incredible. Even at the end when he starts adding the attachments and it becomes this big like bazooka gun, so dope. I love the way also too the CGI on Starro and even the actual starfish that were on the face, all of that looked amazing. The characters that died at the beginning, I thought they served their purpose well. I thought it was good. Again, I just felt that it was too long and they could have taken some parts out, and I thought it would have been an overall great film. Not a 10 out of 10 because there was some plot points that I just didn't like, but I loved everyone's character. It just felt like a fun movie. And now I'm gonna get to the part why I'm gonna stop going to movie theaters. This really, to me, and I always say this, guys, you got to see big movies on a big screen. And I just felt like there was not enough action for me to say you need to see this with big surround sound. This could have just been watched at home. And there's a lot of movies out there like that. Like I will go to the movies. I will go to the movies.
He's agreeing with us.
No. You say you don't want to go to the movies because you just want to stay home. I'm
no,
saying,
that's not it at all. What are you talking about, bro? How are you going to change everything I say? Chris, this is what I say all the time. Remember I told you he takes whatever we say.
There's no way. No, Lou, you're literally saying what we've been telling you.
Oh, my God.
You're taking what I'm saying out of context. No, what I'm saying is that not all movies, and I said this before, not all movies deserve to be in the theater, right? But I'm saying that when I go to the movies, okay, like when I saw Fast 9, why did I spend all that money to see that shit movie? But I wanted to see it on the big screen because I thought it was going to be action-packed. And it wasn't. It was just fucking stupid. For that, I could have stood home and watched it. So what? They're going crazy over here. But hear me out. What I'm saying is that this could have had more action and less talking. I didn't need to know about Ratcatcher and her father. And I didn't need to know about... Where are you going, John? I didn't need to know about the background of every character. I just didn't need to know it. I didn't care for it. Just give me these non-named characters and let them do what they have to do. Let them tell the story as they're doing the action. You know what I'm saying?
Somebody that's watching this, go back and find the clip for Lou of me and Johnny saying, right, that we rather, unless it's like a movie that we feel is worth it, we're not going to spend the time going to the theaters if we have the option of watching it at home, which is basically what he just said.
Well, I'm going to go buy a projector that's like 90 inches and I'm going to get a surround sound and I'm not going back. And another
I got surround sound and a 70-inch. It's the same thing.
Another thing I hate about movies.
Right now, you want to watch it? I can bring it over your house.
People using their phones, bro. Yo, it pissed me off. That was in the theater, and this happens a lot. In the beginning, they say, please turn off your phones. Yo, there was a grown-ass man with his children on his phone on Facebook. Bro, get the fuck out of the theater and go scroll somewhere else. You know what I did? I put the flashlight on my phone, and I faced it towards him. And then it was like, oh, what happened? Like, you don't know we're in a theater, bro? I had to remind you? That shit bothered the fuck out of me.
Bro, the funniest had to be somebody in the theater we were in, though. I sit down. And like 5 seats over from us, my man got like an arm extension thing that's hooked up to the chair, whatever, with a camera, and he's recording the movie. I'm like, bro, who's bootlegging this shit in 2021? Who is bootlegging a movie in the middle of 20? Bro, it's on HBO Max. I can download this shit for free right now. What are you recording over here? Like, I don't know if he was doing a live cast or what he had, but he had some kind of like arm extension, like like a regular
like a tripod kind of thing. Yeah.
I'm like, bro, what are you doing right now? Like, you didn't see the screen. Like, the screen wasn't on. Like, it wasn't like bothering me or whatever like that. But I'm just like, what the fuck are you recording, bro? Like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah, so yeah, I just that kind of like bothered me. And then it was just like I really enjoyed the villains of the first one. I know this may sound crazy, but I felt like the villains in the first Suicide Squad were more threatening than the ones that we had here. Like the Ratcatcher, I thought was stupid.
See, this is why I wanna talk.
Go talk, Chris. Go talk. Right. I'm shutting up.
So for one, here's my issue. Okay.
Speak.
This movie is just a better executed version of the first movie. You get your black lead. So instead of Will Smith, you got Idris Elba. Okay.
Elbow.
I love them both. I know. That's what I call them. Right.
There's an A.
Similar kind of story where he gets bribed into joining the team and becoming a leader of the team. Okay.
Facts.
Granted, I love this. This might be my favorite DC casting. Viola Davis as Amanda Waller is
perfect.
phenomenal.
Yeah, perfect.
She's amazing,
She's perfect.
Yeah.
Okay,
Love
she embodies the like even like the scenes where like the people that were around her were like, "Yo, you're not really gonna do that, are you?" She's like, "You don't know what I'll do for you." You know, like I love that. That's the vibe that she's supposed to give off.
Awesome, bro.
Same concept though. Team, black lead, Harley Quinn scenes that you guys have already mentioned probably weren't even necessary, right? Granted, I love Harley Quinn. I think that's another great casting. Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn,
Perfect.
chef's kiss. Okay,
Yeah.
but it's the same movie.
It is.
They get to the climax. They get betrayed by one of their teammates. This time it was John Cena. You know, little For some reason, the main black character, which is Idris Elba, has a perfect shot. He has gadgets that he can use throughout the movie, all this extra stuff. The way it ends, anticlimactic. One of the heroes or whatever, one of the Suicide Squad members has a crazy power up, just like in the first one. This guy became a freaking superhuman monster demon and kill Shorty. This one, it's basically Squirrel Girl, and she gets all the rats to kill Starro. Okay, mind you, I this is my biggest issue with James Gunn superhero movies. Every ending is anticlimactic as hell. The way they kill the villain is always trash to me. Always trash to me. Mm-hmm. The first Guardians, yeah, it was cool. Dance off, great. Anticlimactic. Second Guardians, anticlimactic. This killing off Starro the way they did, super anticlimactic. I don't care what nobody says. That was trash. I was highly disappointed in the ending of this. How dare Starro is crazy. Okay, he could have easily taken over everybody, but for some reason, he misses the faces of just the Suicide Squad. Everybody else gets taken over, but the Suicide Squad is the only one.
Though it just kept
yeah, that was great, but like for some reason they're the only ones that are unaffected. They're running throughout the city. Everybody else is getting taken over, but he's not sending anything to them. It was anticlimactic. I wasn't a huge fan of the ending. I'm not gonna lie. I thought it would have been better, but James Gunn has this issue. To me, it's an issue with like his superhero film. He does not know how to end his movies on a high. I guess that's his thing, though. Maybe that's his, his forte. Super, like, get people ready for it, and then, granted,
right. No, that makes sense.
I don't think he the way he killed off your boy Polka Dot Man was foul.
Yeah,
that was foul.
It's like I'm here.
I was legit. I'm not gonna lie. I was legit when they killed off Polka Dot Man, bro. And he was like all excited. He's like, I'm here. And then he got killed. I was legit in the movie theater. I went.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Like, I was like in shock, which is what he does do. He does a lot of that. James Gunn does a lot of that shock shit where you're just like expecting it. And like with Pete Davidson, where all of a sudden he got his face blown off. Like there are things where it's just kind of like it catches you off guard. You're not expecting it. And it's like, bam, all right. You're expecting more of a story, but it doesn't happen. With Starro, though, the only things I will say is though, I'm glad that he didn't. There are a couple things I have issues with that. I'm glad Starro again too could have constantly been sending out more of those starfish. Like he could have just not stopped instead of just sending them all out. He stopped. But then what I didn't like though was that what's his name? Oh my god, Idris Elba.
Oh, Bloodsport.
Bloodsport. Thank you. That Bloodsport though, like you broke his mask off literally 2 minutes before this happened. Where you could have just left his mask on him, and that would have been your perfect reason as to why he couldn't get taken, because they were like, "Oh, put your masks on." Right. So yeah, so Ratcatcher 2 had the mask she put on. Harley Quinn was just sitting there covering her face, which you could have easily done anything at all for those things. You could have made it where Harley Quinn could have grabbed a jester hat as a running gag, like she has it in her pocket or some shit. Oh, come to think of it, I knew this would come in handy one day and throw it on real quick. Something stupid like that. As a running gag, because it would have been something to appease the fans, kind of like a little fan service.
It would have made sense. Joke,
yeah.
But also a running gag for him as a running gag, and it would have been a reason to cover his face. Shark, what do you call it? King Shark? Yeah, granted, that dude,
that was hilarious.
He was taking on bullets. Like, I mean, the dude's just apparently invincible. Yeah. I don't know much about King Shark like that, so I don't know his powers and shit, besides being like
I know he looked ugly in The Flash. They tried to...
What?
They try to do King Shark in the Flash series, and it
Did it
looked
really?
ugly. Yeah, you can
I
look
know
it
they
up.
did. What's his name? Kong, not Kong. Oh my God, the gorilla dude. I forgot his name.
Oh, I know what you're talking about in the DC universe. Yeah, I forgot his name. It's not
I
Kong
forgot
though.
his name. No, I know it's not Kong. I forgot his name though. I'm not big into the Flash. That's all Chris's. That's all Chris's thing.
Yeah,
So
that's
I'm not really-
Chris's.
Oh,
What's his
man.
name,
I don't
Chris?
watch that show. That show's terrible.
Wow, you're a Flash fan?
That
Yo,
show's trash. After the fourth
You
season,
should
trash.
be ashamed.
After
No,
the
no,
fourth
no.
season,
I'm
trash.
not gonna lie. I'll agree with Chris when he said after
I
the
never
fourth
watched
season
it.
because even Arrow went trash after
Trash.
the fourth season though. So a lot of them after the fourth season they started to go off. from
They're
what I
doing
heard.
lightsaber fights now. It's terrible.
Wow.
I
Okay.
saw that. I
so
saw that
yeah,
on TikTok.
but I like the fact that they used Margot Robbie though to like use the javelin for a reason to be able to gouge the eye.
Yeah,
However,
there was a
though,
reason
it was
for it.
so predictable because
Yeah.
of the fact that when they showed the scene and they showed the building, I'm sorry, there's no way.
You
in
saw
hell
it
that
line up.
one
Yeah.
You
shot
saw
has
it.
a ramp.
You saw it. You
I'm
freaking
just
saw
like-
it line up.
I'm over here sitting there going, oh, let me guess. Margot Robbie's going to climb up. She's going to run and just jump off that little ledge, that's perfect diving board where Starro just happens to be standing in front of at this one particular moment. So that was like a little bit of like, okay, whatever. Margot Robbie's scenes, though, I mean, I definitely see where he went with the whole flower thing behind her and everything else, too, and all that
Yeah.
shit. Because they were trying to show it what Margot Robbie's, like, what Harley Quinn's visuals, what her mindset is at, where it's kind of like, oh, living in a high world or whatever. So, I mean, I understand what they did with that, but it was kind of like you didn't need to do that. It was kind of like awkward to just kind of throw those random ass things in there. It's not a Harley Quinn movie where you needed to focus on those things for Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
So that was a little off putting at times. But I mean, the love scene though between the two of them, it could have been cut. It could have been cut shorter.
Yeah,
Like you didn't need to
stupid.
have this whole thing because the speech was long.
Yeah.
But again, though, too, the speech though was very much fan service though for Harley Quinn fanboys because of the fact of she was saying that whole entire like I'm gonna if I ever fell in love again or whatever blah blah.
Right.
So it was more fan service and to try to build her story off of the idea of where she came with Suicide Squad and where she came with
Joker.
Birds of Prey and getting away from the Joker.
Yeah.
So stupid shit like that was not needed. What I do feel is they didn't touch on the love story between because they just kind of brought it up the fact that what do you call it, Black Flag went after Harley Quinn because you see it, he's like, oh, because he cares, and that's because he cares. But if you didn't see the first one, you don't know why he cares.
Yeah.
The first one it's not a sequel, it's a one-off, but he still used references from the first one
Right.
to kind of make him be like, oh, that's why I want to go save her. You didn't touch on that.
Yeah.
You didn't touch on the freedom fighters. The freedom fighters literally showed up. They killed all the freedom fighters.
Another
Yo,
They
one.
touched
that
on
was
one second,
hilarious.
he's sitting there with them. You don't know how he sat with them. You don't know why he became part of them. Then it turns out that she killed his whole family, her whole family. Then you see him taking over the building or whatever and the government. And then they're in the they're in the credit scene where they're, we're saving America. We're giving democracy to the country or whatever. And it was like you don't touch on where were they all? Where were all these people when Starro was taking over the city?
And Milton.
Why weren't they taking?
Yo, Milton was hilarious, bro.
Milton was definitely the funniest punchline and the funniest joke ever. When she said to Idris Elba too, she was like, "Milton, we're friends." He's like, "My name's not Milton." What do you mean? We had a 3-hour conversation. That was
And the scene before with the whole King Shark thing where he's like, "Oh, friends."
Yeah.
And then they come out and they were on his ass. Yo, he's indestructible though, because they were on him.
Yeah.
Eating his body and everything.
So bad, bro. When that tank and he saw them, he's like, "Oh," and then they turned around. I was like, "Oh my
Yo,
God."
best part, man. Yeah.
Bro. And I'm sorry, Idris Elba though, when he managed to land on that one scene where he was
Oh
going
yeah, and on his feet and his legs didn't break.
Give me a break. Like I understand in the credit scene in the preview they showed you where he landed and it looked like he did some crazy superhero landing. But bro, I'm sorry, you're a human being. You may be your technology is your suit. Your legs would have been shattered, my dude.
You're tearing every CL in your body.
Yo, for real. I thought his legs were gonna break and it would have been the end of him. No, it did. I'm like, what?
Yep. I was like, what the? I'm like, all right. So like there were some scenes that were definitely like a little more like
Questionable, yeah.
But for DC though, and for Marvel in general, like you got to kind of put all that stuff to the side because they're comic book movies. So you always got to still suspend belief any of that stuff.
So let's go ahead and rate this film. We'll start with John because he's still talking. John, how would you rate this film 1 through 10?
10 out of 10.
You just mentioned a lot of bad things, and you say 10 out of 10. Yo, nobody take his
Because
shit serious.
I'm literally going to watch it again today. When I go inside, I'm actually going to watch it again on HBO Max. It's 10 out of 10. You know what though? Because just because the movie has a couple of questionable things in it does not make it a 9 out of 10 out of 10 movie.
So you're saying this is a masterpiece? You're trolling right now, bro.
I loved it. All right, fine. All right, I'll be nice. 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10. I'll give it a 9 out of 10. At worst case scenario, I'll give it 9 out of 10. No, and again, I'm not talking about all movies in general, bro. I'm talking about for DC movies in general. For DC movies, I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. I loved it. I legit loved it.
All right, Chris, go ahead. I didn't like his answer. Chris is gonna give me a better answer.
I'm gonna give it 7 out of 10.
I thought you were gonna get 8 out of 10. All right.
I give it 7 out of 10 too, bro. I swear, I said it. This is not a masterpiece. Like everyone's saying, this is the
you,
great.
Bro, like IGN rating something a 5. Like, bro, it doesn't like.
No. I say 7 because all the reviews were saying this is the highest reviewed DCEU movie, and this is the best one DC's done in a long time, and all this stuff. It wasn't what everyone hyped it up to be, bro. I need to start going into movies without looking at reviews. Maybe this is not a good thing, right? Like we're doing a review and people, they probably go.
Don't watch this review before you see the
Nah,
movie.
you know what I think it was
first.
too? I think a lot of like content creators that I enjoy watching their reviews and stuff as well. They got the early access, or they went to like the premiere.
Yeah, like a week,
and they were like, "Wow, this was incredible! It's the best thing I've ever seen."
Yeah.
And I was just like, "Oh, cool, bet."
Yeah.
And then I went. And I was like, "Oh, it's a good movie. I'm not gonna lie.
Yes,
definitely watch it. It's a good movie. Very enjoyable. It's
I'm
funny."
the content creator Chris watches then. That gives it like, oh my god, it's the best thing ever. I'm the kind of person Chris watches.
Yeah, but they saw it early too. I don't know if they got paid to say these things by DC, by Warner
True,
Brothers. Like, yo,
but
make sure you say it's the greatest thing ever. You're never gonna get another.
Do me a favor, real quick, Chris. Pull up DCEU. Pull up the DCEU list right now.
All right.
Because
We already know our top.
I want you to tell me which one of these DCEU movies are better than this one. I'm being dead serious. Like, I really want to know what your opinion
My
is.
personal list?
Yeah. For DCEU.
Yeah. Do your top 5, Chris. This is the top 5. Do your top 5. You said yes. Do your top 5, son.
All right.
I
Man
don't
of
have a list in
Steel.
front of me, though, so.
Man of Steel is probably one of my favorites still.
So what? You're starting at number 1. I thought you should start at 5.
That's my
go
number.
down.
All right, the 5. You mean 5 and go up? Come on, bro.
Whatever. 5 and go up. Whatever.
One grade freaking level over there.
Yeah. 5 and go up.
Ranking for the McDonald's and shit was all too.
Your tier list. All right. Come on.
Okay.
5. What's
Number 5. Let's see. Hold on. Let me just look at the movies again, real quick. Okay, you got that one. You got Man.
No, read them all out. Read them all out. I need to make a list too. I don't have a list.
All right, you got Suicide Squad, Justice League,
Justice.
Yeah, that's what they're calling it. No, Justice, because
look at this,
Joss Whedon.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right.
Come on, bro.
But that one should have mentioned.
Zack Snyder's Justice League. You got Birds of Prey, Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman, Shazam,
Wonder Woman 84,
Wonder Woman 84, Aquaman, Wonder Woman, and I think that's it.
That is it.
Suicide Squad's number 1. That's it. I don't care.
Whoa.
Yo, you crazy, bro.
Out of DCEU,
you crazy.
Suicide Squad's number 1.
You crazy.
It might make my top 5 of DCEU.
It is.
I might put that at number 5.
All right,
only 6 movies.
I'm gonna put that at number 5.
It's only 6.
You just read off like 6 names and he's like top 5.
No, there's 9.
I'm gonna put that at number 5.
Okay.
I'm gonna put Wonder Woman at 4.
Really?
I like the first Wonder Woman.
The first one? Okay, yeah, first one, yeah.
I'm gonna put Shazam at 3.
I hated that movie.
I'm gonna put Zack Snyder's Justice League at 2, and I'm gonna put Man of Steel at 1. That's my list.
Okay.
I'm gonna start with Man of Steel at 5.
I'll agree with that with Lou.
I'm gonna put the Suicide Squad that just came out number 4.
Nope.
I'm gonna put Shazam number 3. I'm gonna put Birds of Prey number 2, and then I'm gonna put Zack Snyder's Justice League number 1. That was a masterpiece.
So here's the thing, though. I still have to watch Birds of Prey. I haven't watched it.
Oh, okay. Birds of Prey.
So if I watched it, I might change my list. But
Birds of Prey was great, bro. They did a really great job.
So that's a tough one then for me, then, because I would say that Man of Steel would be 5.
Yeah.
The Man of Steel was good, but it wasn't like I wasn't amazed by it.
Yeah.
Number 4 would have to be. I would say 4 would be Shazam. I would say 4 would be Shazam because I did enjoy Shazam more than Man of Steel, but I wasn't like amazed by it.
Yeah, it was very
3,
comical too, kind of like what we just saw. Yeah,
yeah.
loved it. Yeah.
3 would be Birds of Prey. 2 would be Zack Snyder's Justice League. 1 would be the new Suicide Squad.
You're crazy.
That's the truth. That's the way I would feel with those. That's the way I would feel. Because I would say Zack Snyder.
Snack Snyder.
Zack Snyder. Oh my god, I said it again. Zack Snyder's Justice League was good. It was good. It was amazing. Don't get me wrong. Compared to the original, if I'm comparing the two of them together, yes. Cinematic wise, which is where Lou is going to come out that because Lou. For those of you who don't know, Lou will rate movies off of cinematics, and he'll give if it's amazing cinematics with an okay storyline, he will still put it up there higher than it will be without.
No, story is king, bro. Story is king.
But you will take a great cinematic movie if it looks visually amazing. You will put that higher than something that looks amazing, and has a shitty storyline.
Not true. There's a lot of good-looking movies that don't have a good story. Story is king, bro. And I thought they did a great job.
Story, you'll still put it up there because you'll make it a decent story in your mind. The same way you seem to think that we told you some other shit and that about the movies and everything else too, but you seem to hear it some other way.
Nah, man. Listen.
But no, so I would definitely say that this is better. For me though, again, I'm biased. I'm a fanboy.
Of course. Yeah.
So I am definitely a fanboy because in all reality, I'll put Deadpool in Marvel. I mean, so you can't with certain things when you're a fanboy of certain things, like it's no matter what, it's gonna be.
I know, I get it, but I'm a fanboy of Spider-Man, and Spider-Man to me is not top 5. He's top 10.
Really?
In the movies,
Spider-Man's not top 5.
In the movies, the MCU, he's top 10, not top 5.
Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah, I can actually see that. But remember though, too, you're also talking about a bigger list though, too. You're talking about a list of like 20 freaking movies.
No, of course, but you
almost
know, I'm
30 now.
Well, no, I'm saying because you're saying that it's your bias when it comes to Harley Quinn and Deadpool and stuff like that. I'm biased with Spider-Man, but when it comes to the films, I will rate it fairly.
Right, but no. But if you were to put them, let's say you take away for like let's say you would take away Justice League, let's say you would take away other ones. Like let's say we take away like for instance Marvel, you take away the movies of
like
Avengers
Endgame, Infinity War, stuff like
all
that.
Together movies, and you rate them by character wise, like individual character movies. And let's say we're gonna count Thor, like Thor 1, 2, and 3, but it's just Thor itself.
Yeah,
so if you were rating Thor, Iron Man, etc., the Thor movies versus Iron Man movie versus, you're gonna put Spider-Man up there compared to other ones because
because both Spider-Man movies were actually better than all three Iron Mans. Only Iron Man 1 was good. So yeah, if you put it like that, look at this guy. He's fighting bugs over there, karate chopping. I think Chris would agree with that too. Like, if you have Spider-Man movies versus the Iron Man movies, Spider-Man would win because the other two
100%.
Iron Man sucked.
100%.
Same thing with Thor. The first two sucked.
And I personally rank Far From Home really high. I know a lot of people love Homecoming more. I like Far From Home way better.
I like the villain better. Mysterio was incredible. Jake Gyllenhaal did an amazing job.
No, but now let's say what I'm trying to say too is like let's say you take DC movies in general. Like DC movies in general, the Suicide Squad would not be number 1. If we're doing DC movies. Because I would rank Batman higher than
right.
Oh yeah. Without a doubt. Right. Yes.
And I'm biased as hell, and I love Harley Quinn. Like I'm doing a Harley Quinn tattoo eventually, but I'm still with 5 minutes. I would still do. I would still rate it like Batman over Harley Quinn though. At that point, like I would put Batman because the movie itself was still way better than the Harley Quinn movies were.
Well, you got the greatest director of all time, Christopher Nolan. Yes,
right. So even though you're like yes, there is some bias to it, but the fact is though, was because of the fact that when I went into it, I enjoyed it more than I enjoyed Justice League. Because I enjoyed the story and I enjoyed it personally. Not rating it according to character wise. I enjoyed it according
and it wasn't 4 hours.
No, I agree that the 4 hours is a bit
that's
much.
where for me though, that's why I say bias. It's not because it's like, oh, Deadpool, they automatically no. It's because I enjoyed the story as opposed to a story of Iron Man's story. I opposed to Justice League story because yes, Batman is amazing, but I'm not a fan of Batfleck. So I mean, he does great, but I'm not. It's not me. It's not where I'm just like I want I want Chris Nolan's Batman back. Like that's the Batman for me. That's the one that if I'm talking about modern day Batman, that's my Batman.
Okay,
whack.
So that's
that's a whole other conversation. We don't got time for that shit. But we're gonna end it here because it's gonna end on us eventually. So I want to thank John and Chris for joining me for this review. We haven't done a review in a long time, but we will be doing a new review coming up soon with the Marvel's What If series coming up. So make sure you take your time out for that. Make sure you watch it coming up this week. And again, if you haven't watched our podcast, we go live on Twitch every Saturday, 12 p.m. Eastern. And if you don't got time to watch us live, you can go to our YouTube channel, Keep Gaming Podcast, or wherever you get your podcast. Just type in Keep Gaming Podcast and subscribe. And that's gonna be it for us, guys. We love you. Until next time, keep gaming. Peace.
Hi.